Hi there, I am Narasimham Vadlamani. I am a practicing landscape architect and basically an architect practicing in Hyderabad for the last 25 years. I am also a visiting professor, a jury examiner at various schools of architecture in Hyderabad and elsewhere. When I joined the 5-year course, I used to wonder what it was all about, whether it was only about buildings. Then I came to understand that architecture is there in a leaf, in any animal, in a tree, in a computer. Architecture is an expressive interpretation of elements such as spaces which have direct bearing on human habitation. Well, I went on to do my post-graduation in landscape architecture from Delhi School of Architecture, which was one of the top 10 in the world in 1970s. So I always aspired, in spite of getting admission in US and other IITs, I preferred Delhi School of Architecture to study there because there were great masters who were teaching in 70s and 80s and slowly retired and left around 2000. So I picked up the specialization called landscape architecture. The term landscape was always a mystery to me right from childhood as to what it means. And anything that you see and experience on this surface of earth, be it water, be it a mountain, be it a city, so everything is part and parcel of the large landscape of this globe. So I was excited that I am going to start redesigning nature. So that's how it started. If I look at the history, I would put it in as modern, pre-modern, modern, and post-modern. So pre-modern is, I would say, I consider before 1950s, and the modern between 1950 to 2000, let's say, and from 2000 onwards, what we can call as post-modern. So how the world has changed from these periods. If you look at the pre-modern, gets reminded of pyramids, Parthenon in Greece, and Eiffel Tower, the leaning Pisa Tower. So these are visible elements on the global landscape. So coming to the Indian context, if we look at pre-modern, we have Ajanta Ellora caves, we have stepped wells of Gujarat and other states. Even today, many stepped wells in Telangana are being discovered and being documented. Well, if I go to the modern era, the world context, all of you know the Petronas Towers or the Burj Khalifa, etc., are all skyscrapers using a lot of materials out of mining, and this is what has happened. Whereas in modern era in India, we do not have such skylines, but we have many buildings which have come, like Lotus Temple or Chandigarh, or the Bharat Bhavan, which is in Bhopal. If you see how beautifully the building has no statement at all, and the terraces are designed as gardens overlooking the beauty of the lake. So our Indianness is more blending with the nature than standing out as icons. Then coming to postmodern era, the world over now we have twisting buildings, dancing buildings, I don't know, soon, probably. So we have rotating buildings. Some of the, our cities In 1950s, 60s, the Chandigarh was planned by a very well-known French architect, Le Corbusier, and the beauty that he has done was that he weaved the fabric of open spaces as a garden city and looked at the design of a city in that manner. So which was ecocentric or green centric primarily. And we have not learned lessons probably coming to the modern era when Naya Raipur has been designed city, which anyone can visit now in Chhattisgarh. A lot of talk happened about it, but technically the fundamental mistake that has gone wrong is it is road centric. This new city has been planned as road centric and a wheel centric. Is that what we look for? We look for garden city, more of open spaces, the green spaces flowing, and the wheel is subservient. It's kept at the periphery, and we don't see huge parking lots, roads which are heat islands, and which look like in front of a railway station or an airport. The way we have parking lots, is that what we would like to look at in our new cities? How many of you agree with me that we should have more green in the cities and all the parking should be subservient? Thank you. I get an overwhelming response. So, well, I hope our new challenge which is coming up, Amravati, on the banks of the river Krishna, again, I hope the floodplains will be preserved and conserved for flooded times to come. Today we have flash floods. Today we have cloud bursts because of the climate change. So the river per se, the rest of the city being planned, hopefully it's green centric, it's looked at as garden city. Hopefully it's not another Naya Raipur which was wheel centric and road centric. So I'm talking of before 93, how we stood the whole day at the drawing board, which was so big, and we had parallel bars. I mean, your engineering small, that instrument doesn't help, and we need to work on large drawings. The whole day we used to work and look at the curvatures in pencil. So even today when I teach architecture students, I tell them that using pencil, sketching is fundamental to become a very popular creative personality. So these are all pencil drawings and some of them are inked. So that was my experience. Now coming to how many of you think the pencil is very important? Because nowadays, right from first year, day one, nobody uses pencil. I had studied several books during our post-graduation. All of you keep reading a lot of books, Ayn Rand and so on and so forth. Well, there were two books which influenced my life. Small is Beautiful by Shoemaker, a very eminent economist of America, and One Straw Revolution, a book by Fukuoka, a Japanese microbiologist, who proved to the world, he said, do nothing. So that doesn't mean you don't do anything. He said, do as little as you want. Understand what he meant by that. Anyway, these were some of the philosophies which by reading we, and then when I started my practice in 92, I realized, how do I go about the designing? So I realized that we are, working on Panchabhutas, right? The earth, the vegetation, the fire, the sky, and the vegetation, whatever, 5 elements. So we are designing them. So, understanding the context whether it's a rainforest or a desert or a tundras or elsewhere. So one needs to understand the culture of the ecology there. We were taught all about geology, hydrology, climatology and all these very thoroughly, and we analyze in those aspects and design. So these are the fundamental, and our pancha indriyas, the 5 senses of human being, right? The taste, the smell, the hearing, the see and feel. So these 5 senses also are very important. So keeping all these in view, started off in way back in 92. Well, I would quickly start browsing. This is one of the international projects we worked on, the ARAD Bay Park in Bahrain way back, where it was a marine ecosystem come passive recreation. So there was a sea water, backwaters, where mangrove forests plantations were thriving, and we created a 4-kilometer ring path which had skating, walking, jogging and cycling. So this has become very popular in that country today. Next, another project which we did, a park on the seaside, which also became very popular. Well, coming to SHILPAARAMAM, in 95 we got national award for this project. The beauty of this project was it was designed keeping in mind a departure from regular urban architecture, so to say the concrete jungle, so to say the pigeonhole concrete buildings that we are doing day to day. So this project we have it was more of a folk architecture where innocent tribals, the way they looked at the nature blending with the the buildings. So it was in 64 acres that we have designed, and we never allowed any JCB or bulldozer or poclane to tamper with the the topography and the ecology. And it was done that way, and we have tilled with tractors or bullock carts and made huge lawn areas, preserved the rocks, beautiful rocks inside, preserved the low-lying water body which we made as a lake for boating, then used saucer-like situations for open-air theatre with least cut and fill. Next is the public gardens. We got again national award in 2002, revitalization of this project, which is a historical park. Now today it is almost 170 years old. So not tampering with history part attached to it, we kind of revitalized it by cleaning the lakes, bringing back to life, then adding more plants and restoring the structures. Then we have this is close to my heart, which is Alankrita on the outskirts. Way back when the client brought the stone columns, the wooden columns, the wooden doors, wooden windows, and wooden, even chariot, horse chariot, and and these were thrown on the ground and not knowing what to do, and we just numbered, and we erected, we made a concept, and we brought back all those elements back to life. These were brought from Karaikudi, where Chettinad houses were pulled down and sold to all over the country during 90s. So because their grandchildren all migrated to Singapore and other countries for their own better pastures. So this project is just nothing but architectural restoration. Some of the state awards which we got, where we have been working on conserving of rock formations in Hyderabad, the region, the Deccan Plateau, and also conservation of lakes has been a very important aspect in our profession. And these two projects also received state honors. I would only say that today we have something, the materials that are being used for huge projects such as, aluminum, iron, or the stainless steel, the glass, the cement, versus our natural elements, material which are available like stone, like concrete, the stone, the brick, and the wood. So something using these natural materials, we have done many beautiful things in our country, which is not so visible. But what is visible is a skyscraper today, which totally takes away through mining all our natural resources. And think of the maintenance in the long run. People are erecting huge high-rise structures, but what happens tomorrow regarding the maintenance costs and the air conditioning and so many things, whereas we have passive cooling systems, and using our natural materials we can evolve passive methods. So the question is left to you now: how do we work? How do we take our cities forward, our architecture forward? Thank you.